It's been another one of those weeks, and as we get near the end, it's time to fall back. We got two special guests tonight. Returning to the beat is Grammy Award-winning rapper, songwriter, producer, and professor Lupe Fiasco, known for his unique style.
Like the governor called and he told him to wait. Unstrap him from the chair and put him back in his cage. You gon' touch the sky? Yes, yes, yes. Guess who's on third? Lupe still like Lupe in the third. Let's go Paris, wake up and no, alright, the show goes on all night till the morning. We dream so long.
Dream definitely goes on now because Lupe is part of academia, teaching at MIT and Yale, and a professor at Johns Hopkins University's hip-hop program. Also joining us, and Lupe was just asking if he has a music video montage.
Just the name. Just stop it at the name. There's nothing. Don't even play anything after
NBC's
that.
Gotti Schwartz.
I can't do anything.
Who's been reporting on many important stories, including the difficult California wildfires. Regular seen on Today and Nightly News, and he has the show Stay Tuned Now, which streams nightly on NBC News now at 8 p.m. Eastern. Doing it for the streamers. Welcome to both of you.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
How you doing?
Yeah.
Gotti was telling me before you showed up that he's a longtime listener.
A long-time listener, and in fact, you know, one of the things that I've been complaining about is AI creeping into everything, and yet I've seen you use an AI ahead of everybody else. And so one of the things, Deezer, that streamer in France, they now have, I believe it's an AI bot that goes through and it is checking to see what has been AI generated. They're taking down like 20,000 AI songs, I think a month. And then it's like, wait, so do we use AI for music? Do we not? I remember watching some clips of you playing with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, what do you think? I mean, I'd love to get your take.
Yeah, I mean, I built a AI platform called Text Effects with Google a couple years ago, a year back, which was about using AI in a way not to remove the artist, not to completely create work from scratch, but to kind of like isolate some of the processes in the creative process, the tools and the many little moves and things that you would do to create something. But then there's also like things that are like the technology is, and the products of it are super impressive. It's things that I could have never have done. The speed, the efficiency is just, is too big to not use it. And it's too good not to use it at this point. Maybe 6 months ago, different. But now it's very, very refined. Very, very accurate.
Does it make you feel things? I mean, like music has always been about like feeling something. And the only times I've felt something with AI is like when I get tricked by somebody, I don't know, doing like some deep fake. And I'm like, damn, all right, it got me there. But like, can it create that weird human vibe that's hard to describe?
Yeah, it can. I created something using Suno. Which is actually a AI firm based out of, they're in Harvard Square, actually, so they're based in Cambridge, not too far from MIT. And I got emotional. Like it was very, very, it was like, wow, like this has impact. You know, it took you, I mean, the way I use it, I kind of daisy chain it, I add different things, I do some editing, kind of arrange it. And so there's some curation that has to take place to get that emotionality that I'm looking for. But it's definitely possible, for sure.
How do you feel about people that have like no business in music, just being like, yo, I can make some money here. I'm just gonna execute, make this, upload it, and then just keep doing that over and over and over.
Well, everybody has business in music. Hey, everybody come on in. Everybody's welcome, you know what I'm saying, to take a shot at it, express yourself. Whether they should be doing it professionally and asking you to pay them for it is another thing. But I think for the most part that it is a good thing. I say that with a grain of salt. But from my work with it, my students at MIT actually building these things. My students actually work at Suno, so it's a whole, you know, I'm in the whole kind of pipeline of it. I know that their intentions for it are very good, you know, and I know the passion that they have for music and creativity is also very good. And so they're not going to do something for the sake of taking something away from somebody else or anything like that maliciously. But also I think it's an opportunity for artists to kind of give themselves permission, as I heard from an artist who was using AI, give themselves permission to work on the projects that they needed $1 million at one point.
Right. Yeah, it can really level the playing field, to your point. And as an educator, you're dealing with the next generation that's going to be up in these tools in every field, every profession. So it's a question of how to use it. We also want to ask you about Coachella, which just went down. You've played that main stage. We saw the clip of you and Tyler, the creator.
Yeah.
Seeing Bernie Sanders, who, with all respect, he doesn't look like your core average Coachella attendee, although everybody's welcome.
Everybody's welcome.
And yet what he's doing in this moment where there's been different discussions about how to engage, and we got this here, let's listen to how he was brought out and what he said to the crowds there.
And the future of what happens to America is dependent upon your generation. We need you to stand up to fight for justice.
What do you see there in people trying to come out of DC or a political event and bringing it and meeting people, including young people, where they're at?
He should have freestyled. He should have took an opportunity to freestyle. I mean, you got to meet people where they are, like we talked about earlier, right? Like you have to kind of go to where the energy is, where the next steps, and what the steps that are being made now that are going to affect who is going to affect them most. And it is the future. It's the next generations that are coming. Even AI is going to affect them. Politics is going to affect everything. Will affect them. So I think it's a matter of like, I think it's smart. I think Bernie has that energy and that respect, you know, as an OG. I think we look at him and appreciate him as an OG. And I think he really has the good, you know, the goodness in his heart and wants that for everybody else outside his politics. Like, I think he's just a really good guy.
Yeah, you're talking about him as a person. I'm curious, Gotti, what you think, because when I look at this, there was a period in American music when resistance and protest and politics were central. We've covered that on this program. And then there was a period, and you sort of stood against some of this in hip hop, but there was a period where it was so much glitz. It's like you couldn't tell the difference between certain types of Wall Street, you know, Reaganomics and the music. And I wonder whether there's also this cycling back, and we follow that in 24, you know, again, as you said, people can pick their politics, but the idea that you could jump in, people told Taylor Swift, well, just don't get involved. It's going to alienate some of your fans, right? And then we've seen more and more artists say, even if true, even if it's a risk, they're going to do it. And Bernie at Coachella and artists doing that. Again, it's not campaign season. No one's going to get a vote in April. So it's more civic, which harkens back to Woodstock was, of course, intertwined between music and an idea about protest.
Yeah, part of me wonders if, you know, there were a line of thirsty politicians that did want to go to Coachella, and they looked at the list and they're like, no. Let's see who fits here. Only Bernie, like you said. I mean, he's an OG, and you've got libertarians that have supported him. You've got progressives that have supported him. He's got like a lot of bona fides here. I do agree, though. He should have dropped something.
I would have loved to freestyle. We only have 1 minute left, and you had a fallback, Gotti, about drinks.
Oh yeah, drinks at Coachella. In fact, they're selling like non-alcoholic drinks. I was thinking, you know, food and liquor. Right. You know, tribute to the old food and liquor. Right. And as a non-drinker, I remember listening to that as a kid and being like, look, no, somebody understands and sees the world in this way of like, no, you don't have to drink to fit in. Right. You were like a god to me because of that. Right. But then I see over at Coachella, they're expanding You Soberchella. Everybody's marketing this like very expensive drinks without alcohol. And then I'm like, I kind of like that. And yet I also feel like water, I don't know, maybe those like liquid IV.
Shout out to water.
Big shout out to water.
Shout out to water.
Yeah, here we go. Some water right here.
There we go.
Fun fact, Heineken 00. Shout out to my man Dolph, who's the CEO of Heineken. I'm one of the reasons that Heineken 00 exists. Because I wasn't able to drink with the rest of the crew. You know, we have our little seminars at the Aspen Institute, and he would bring in all his Heineken. I was like, I can't participate. I got to drink water. So he made Heineken 00 for me. So I'm for it. All mocktails, right? Any non-alcoholic, what have you, more water as well.
And if you're going to Coachella, look for that on the shelf there, right?
Sober clarity. And the Times had a piece I was going to shout out this week that was talking about how nightclub culture has changed because the younger generation are drinking less or not at all. So they're not buying the 3, 4, you know, Red Bull vodkas of the past.
Back in the day, I was so dancey. I wanted people to get on my level. So I'd be like, yeah, if you got to drink, like drink, hurry up.
They have to drink to get to your sober.
But if you tap into music, right, you know.
We like that. All right, now I'm out of time. I got to pass to the next host. Lupe, Gotti, thank you. We'll be right back.